Stargaze by Steel Soul. The late evening air was cool and crisp as two ponies made their way up the hills overlooking the small town of Maretime Bay. They walked in comfortable silence, their hooves crunching softly against the gravelly path they trekked. The bay's lights twinkling below them was pretty enough, but up here, away from the bustling town, they could escape into the serene beauty of the night sky's superior canvas. Zipp, with her electric blue and pink mane and determined spirit, led the way with a slight skip in her step. The mare often looked back to make sure she didn't lose the stallion following at a steady pace behind her. "Come on, Sheriff, keep up. Don't want to leave you behind after all." The Sheriff Hitch chuckled slowly as he followed after ever rambunctious Zipp, staying at his comfortable trot as he followed behind her. "I am, Zipp, I am," the stallion mused softly, his gaze tracking every bit of movement that the mare's hips made as she trotted in front of him. He knew she wanted to take him to some place with a view, but at this point he didn't mind the one he was looking at right now. Even after the pair had been dating for a while, the stallion couldn't help but find the mare in front of him more beautiful than ever, even if she would never call herself that. It was because they had been dating for a while that he knew the mare well enough to notice the subtle signs that belied Zipp's carefree facade. Her steps were slightly heavier, her gaze lingering on the horizon with a hint of contemplation, her tone of voice ever so shaky. It was clear to Hitch that something was on her mind, despite her efforts to maintain a cheerful, rambunctious demeanor. He also knew that if Zipp didn't want to tell him, she wouldn't, even if he begged, deciding to leave it for now. He would allow her to have her thoughts to herself for the time being, though he figured, at least in his heart of hearts, that she didn't just bring him here for a good time. As the pair neared a secluded clearing on the hills, Zipp allowed herself to spread her wings and soared into the air, her excitement evident in the way she soared higher and higher, her body twirling with practiced ease. The stallion could only watch in awe, his eyes tracing her graceful movements against the backdrop of the night sky, an easy thing to do due to the mare's pure white coat. With a flourish, Zipp touched down gently on the soft grass, her wings folding behind her. She turned to Hitch, a playful glint in her eyes. "Welcome to my secret stargazing spot," she said, her voice filled with pride and a little bit of excitement. "I come here when I want to escape the noise of the world and lose myself in the beauty above." The sheriff laughed as he gently nudged the mare beside him. "Don't you always lose yourself in the beauty above? I mean, you practically live in the sky when you aren't with me or one of the girls." "Don't forget about sleeping," Zipp remarked as she wrapped her wing around the orange stallion, pulling him close. "Can't very well sleep in the clouds, now can I?" Hitch chuckled as he leaned in, giving her a quick nuzzle, much to her slight embarrassment. "You got me there, Zipper. Though, if you could pull the clouds together and make a bed out of them, then I'm sure that would change in a heartbeat," adding his little pet name for her as he spoke. "Like you wouldn't want to see these flanks covered in on all sides by pillowy clouds," she mused, shaking her rump slightly for added emphasis. The stallion snorted as he pulled back, blushing as the comment caught him off guard. "You are too much, Zipp." "Say that all you want. You know you love it when I am." "I do, just as much as I love this view," Hitch mused as he looked above them, the sky a canvas of twinkling stars and planets, painting a mesmerizing tapestry of light. The moon cast a gentle glow, illuminating the landscape and giving it an ethereal touch. "Been a while since I just took all of this in. Might have been back when I was a foal, growing up alongside Sonny if I'm being honest. Some pretty good memories. Zipp flopped onto the grass below her, patting the spot next to her invitingly. Come on, Hitch, lie down with me. I want to get lost in the stars together with you after all, she said, her voice a soothing melody. Maybe you can make some better memories with me. She winked, causing the stallion to blush. Settling down beside her, he felt a sense of peace wash over him as the mare pushed herself closer against him, wrapping a foreleg around his own. Together they gazed up at the heavens. Watching the stars drift lazily across the sky, twinkling brightly as they did so. Their breaths mingled in the tranquil night air, and the rhythm of their hearts seemed to align in the hushed stillness. I honestly forgot how beautiful this all is, Hitch mused softly. Yeah, I never get tired of it, Zipp agreed. Her voice was soft, softer than usual. Zipp? Hitch asked, a note of concern in his voice. If there was a time to ask her about her problems, it would be now. I know that tone of voice. Is something wrong? The mare was quiet for a long time after hearing the stallion's question. The stallion knew that his mare friend often preferred to process her emotions internally, finding solace in her own thoughts and actions rather than vocalizing them. She was okay with talking about silly things, but when it came to her personal life, she was almost like a closed book, not wanting someone to read her, but... I don't want this to end, Zipp admitted, her voice tinged with uncertainty as she finally spoke. Huh? The mare shook her head at the stallion's questioning tone. This, me being here, carefree, with you. Oh. Hitch trailed off, unsure how to respond. He was expecting something, but... Zipp continued as she pulled herself close to him, letting her head rest softly against his chest. Sorry, I hate talking about it, but I just have been thinking a lot, I guess. She sighed before closing her eyes, the heat of her breath playing across the fur of his chest. My mother has always been an incredible ruler, and she's done so much for our kingdom, even during the time we lost our magic. I know that we tricked them by pretending that we, me, my sister, and Mum could still fly, but honestly, we only did that to keep their hope alive. Seeing us fly back when we didn't have magic meant that Pegasi was still amazing, even if our subjects couldn't. Even after we got our magic back, got the ability to fly back, I can still see my mother working hard to not only rebuild her rep with her kingdom, but also help rebuild Equestria with the other races. She shook her head. She pulled closer to him, her eyes shutting tight. Even my sister is doing what she does to help ponies feel better about themselves. And look at me. What have I really done? Zipp? The mare continued, her voice tinged with uncertainty. My mother wants me to be a queen when she steps down, but I don't know if I can be like her. I don't know if I want to be like her, to be a ruler. I know it's selfish, but I don't want to be responsible for any pony but myself right now. Her voice trembled slightly as she buried her head in the stallion's side. I honestly don't know if being a queen is really what I want to do with my life anyway. I've been trying to find my own path, my own purpose. Maker knows I have, but it feels like the expectations of others overshadow everything I think I want to do. That's why I wanted to get away from home, to have some time to think and be free from the responsibilities that are waiting for me back home. She looked up at Hitch before looking away in shame. Does that make me a bad pony? Zipp's question hung in the air, heavy with self-doubt and the fear of judgment. Hitch's gaze softened as he looked into her eyes, understanding the weight of her concerns. Gently, he would shake his head before pressing a hoof against the mare's muzzle, booping her and causing the mare to blush brightly and squeak softly. "How long have you been dealing with this all on your own, Zipp?" His voice was even and kind, yet stern as well. "Since I left home," she shook her head. "No, that's a lie. I've been dealing with that before I left home." "Well, you shouldn't have to," Hitch stated matter-of-factly. "At least not anymore. You have a sister who I'm sure will listen to you, just like you listen to her. Friends in Izzy and Sunny who will do the same as well. And you have me too." He smiled as he looked away. "The fact that you feel like you can share something this personal about yourself to me kind of makes me happy." Zipp smiled softly. "Yeah, I mean, you're okay as far as sheriffs go, so why wouldn't I?" The stallion turned over so that he was facing the mare, his hooves pulling her closer so that her head was nuzzled under his chin. "You know, Zipp, I really can relate to your feelings of uncertainty and not knowing what you want to do," Hitch confessed. "Before I even became one, I never dreamed of becoming the sheriff of Maretime Bay. I kinda didn't know where I wanted to go or do in my life." "You, Mr. Hitch, pick up that trash or 30 minutes in the brig, trailblazer?" Zipp teased with a slight chuckle. "I kinda find that hard to believe." Hitch nodded. "It's true. I never really dreamed of myself being a sheriff, or even having any sort of job like it." Hitch's voice grew softer as he spoke. "But as I grew up, I realized that what mattered most to me was making a positive impact on the lives of others, being there for my community and finding joy in the simple moments. And that's when the role of sheriff started to make sense to me. It allowed me to serve, protect, and connect with the ponies of Maretime Bay." He sighed, looking away from the mare. "Even after all that, I can still have my doubts on if I'm good enough. Still, I don't let that stop me from doing the best I can, and I think the same thing can be said for you." He smiled. "So, to answer your question, just do the best you can with what's in front of you. I'm sure for an amazing mare like you, everything will fall into its place." Zipp smiled as she closed her eyes, basking in the warmth of the stone's embrace. "You are pretty smart for a sheriff," she responded with a chuckle before looking back at him. "I think I needed to hear that. I mean, I still don't know what I should do, but I can't help but feel better knowing that I have a wonderful stallion like you looking out for a silly mare like me." "Oh, come on now, Zipp. You are anything but silly," Hitch stated with a smirk. "In fact, I think you are one of the most mature and wise mares I know." "Oh, come on, Sheriff. I'm already your mare friend. Don't need to flatter me," Zipp said, gently pushing the stallion's chest, though the blush on her face clued the stallion how she really felt about it. "And who says I'm flattering you?" Hitch countered. "I'm just stating facts." "Uh-huh," the mare replied, a sceptical tone to her voice and a hint of mirth. "You're just fishing for a kiss." Hitch gave a soft laugh before leaning in and pressing his muzzle against hers. "Guilty as charged, though it doesn't make it untrue." The mare rolled her eyes before pulling the stallion closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Fine, I guess I can give you a kiss or two." "Or 20? Hitch teased softly. "Or 30? Zipp snorted. "You're lucky I like you, Sheriff Hitch." "Don't I know it?" With a gentle touch, muzzle pressed against muzzle, as Zipp pressed her lips against his, a soft and lingering kiss was more than the sum of its parts. It was a simple act that carried the weight of so much more, conveying the affection and love they both felt for each other, a kiss that was meant to be shared between two ponies who held each other dearly. Time seemed to stand still as they shared that intimate moment beneath the starlit sky. The world around them faded away, leaving only the warmth of their embrace and the sweet taste of their affection. It was a silent exchange of love and reassurance, a reminder that they were each other's safe haven in the midst of life's uncertainties.
White, the stars shine bright, a gentle breeze in the soft moonlight. Side by side, they stand so near, drifting free, with hearts sincere. She lifts her gaze, await inside, chasing dreams where the wild winds glide. He speaks so calm, his touch so true, a steady light to guide her through. And when he looks into her eyes, all her fears just melt, subside. If she could stay there by his side, she'd never need to chase the tide. He tells her fate will find its course. No need to run with reckless force. That love's not lost on paths unknown. It finds a way, it finds a home. And when he looks into her eyes, all her fears just melt, subside. If she could stay there by his side, she'd never need to chase the tide. Maybe tomorrow the winds will call. Maybe she'll rise. Maybe she'll fall. But here and now, beneath these stars, she knows exactly where they are. So close they stand, no need to go, no rush to chase the world. The sky is white, the stars shine bright, and love still shines within their light.
It's the Mystery Pony Fiction channel. Also available as a podcast on Spotify. And Izzy Moonbow is best pony, by the way. Fiction. Bro, hoof, comment, subscribe.